Sitting here in the garage today with some new bit of kit. This is the first opportunity I've had to open up the box and have a look at some new bit of kit from a company called Auxbeam. These guys are new, relatively new on the four-wheel drive accessory markets, and they make spotlights, controllers, all kinds of things that are actually really helpful for simplifying the electrical systems on your four-wheel drive. And in my case, I also needed a new set of spotties. I've had some cheap 7-inch LEDs on my car for a very long time. They've had some stone hits and they're actually busted. They still work as lights, but they are pretty much at the end of their life. The guys at Auxbeam reached out to me and said, hey, we'd love to get your feedback on a set of these and see how you think they perform. You know, do a lot of off-roading, we go out and bush, we do a lot of touring, so a lot of various different applications, and wanted to get my insight. So more than happy to give this a try and share our experience with you guys. The switch panel is a really cool bit of kit. If you haven't seen this, it's an IP65 rated fuse box that serves as a central control point for all your electronic accessories. It holds up to a 60 amp capacity, which is excellent, has a lot of current draw, and allows you to run combinations of either 4, 6 or 8 different circuits off the one switch, which is perfect for what I've got. I've got things like essentially my fridge, my oven, some rear camp lights. I've got spotties I could hook off it as well. Just some other bits and pieces that's going to do a really good job of cleaning up under the bonnet and making it easy for me to be able to control those things literally from the cockpit and the seat of the car. So pull them out, we'll have a look at it. So one of the first things I've noticed when we open the box here on the switch panel, clear instructions. There are mounting brackets actually for this as well. Obviously indicates where they are, it's stuck down in the bottom of the foam. This is the actual controller unit itself. 8 different functions you could have off the back of this, and there's actually a sheet of stickers you can see in there, how you want to program them to suit. This is the actual fuse box. So this is actually really high density plastic, and the back is actually I think it feels sort of like a thin mild grade steel or something like that. It might be a thicker aluminium. So opening up this, you can see what's actually involved here. So there's actually some spare fuses on the inside and a fuse puller, is that yellow thing there. So it's designed to be a standalone fuse block that you put all your circuits and connections into based on the fuse ratings, understanding what your device is going to be, the current draw your device is going to be pulling. It's going to be critically important, and then running your power circuit from your battery into the actual block itself. Now this then runs off the connector and serves as your central control point, which I think is just a really simple design, nice relatively low profile. There's actually some extruded or cutaways here to run the cables, so you can run them nice and flush, as you can see on that. So I can run that flash onto a flat surface in the dash of the car, which I think is really handy. There's actually the wireless controller, so you can actually sit at camp if you wanted to turn lights on and off, or keep this in your pocket and have your camp lights hanging off the side of the car, and when you go to bed actually just turn them off from your swag or wherever you're sleeping. I think that's a really handy idea, really thoughtful idea. 60 amp circuit breaker, need one of those. And I guess all your battery cables and bits and pieces in there too. Moving over to the 5-inch spotties. Unlike the regular spotlights that we've seen for years in the industry, these have actually got an integrated sort of central spot and a widespread cutaway section in here too. So opening these up, again, really well packed, little instruction panel and piece of all that. Here's your actual wiring harness for the lights themselves. This is the splitter for each of the light circuits. Some mounting brackets. These are obviously a powder coated unit. All the bolts and bits you need. Actually pull these things out. While they're only 5-inch size, they pack a punch. They are solid. They feel, there's a lot of weight to them, and not weight in sort of a negative way. You can just feel that these are pretty solidly well cast back blocks here. So this is a cover on the front. We'll pull that off and have a look. 10 LED, sort of Cree LED lights on the front. Then it's got these 3 LEDs on the side panel here for a wider spread, and I guess like an amber or white running light down here on this spine section there. I typically go with the mindset with lighting that big is better. So I probably wouldn't have chosen the 5-inch version if I was shopping for something like this. So I'm really interested to see how these go in terms of the format. I'm really keen to try the spread, this spreader section of the light. I think that's going to be really interesting. And just see how well they perform as a overall high beam for what I use it for anyway. I'm actually getting to installing it today on the FJ. So here's the lights. They look slick. We can actually set them up with a orange parking driving light, full-blown spot, or I've actually wired these into my deep cycle auxiliary battery over here, and main purpose being that occasionally from time to time I'll want lights on while I'm setting up camp. This means I don't have to draw off high beams off the cranking battery, and I can also wire it up so the switch comes on with the high beams anyway. It actually comes with a couple of mounting brackets. They actually sit under the foam inserts, so look hard. It does describe that. There's actually a second bracket, but I'm actually not going to use them. What I'm going to use is the battery mount for the FJ Cruiser, and it actually fits perfectly into the bolt holes that already exist in the bracket. On the actual control box itself, there is actually a, I'll move this out of the way. There is actually a AC accessories input, so that controls whether or not you want the switch panel active and connected to your accessories. When we come inside, the control panel itself doesn't work, nothing going on. As soon as I turn on the accessories, I don't have to turn on the car, the units come on itself. I actually think this is going to install up in here, which will be a nice handy position in the cockpit. So here we are with the fully installed Auxbeam 8-panel switch assembly. Really accessible. I can literally pop the lid. As we said earlier, spare fuses under there and a fuse puller. Really convenient. So now I could wire in up to 8 different accessories. They do actually supply a bracket with it to hold, and you can actually change the tilt and pitch of this. They actually screw into the back panels here. So you could put it up on the dash mount or thing like that. I really want to avoid drilling holes as much as possible. So I'm actually going to use a high strength, double strength 3M mounting tape. I've used this for other things in the past. This ultra gauge panel, it's been there for years now. It's working really well. And I've actually used it on my GME bracket too, so that's done really well. So I'm going to do the same here, mount that there. I've actually etched out some of the back paneling to fit the cables through. Be a pretty neat little spot. Obviously alcohol, clean it all off, get it nice and tidy, then we can stick it on. So here we go, this is it, installed. Auxbeam panel, beautiful looking switch, very bright, very illuminated, and going to be a dream for operating out on the tracks, a camp, whatever we need. There's actually an app, so you can control live the colors that you want your control panel to be. Make it blue. Should we find it too bright, we can actually reduce the brightness. So they were pretty bright earlier. Put it back down. There's actually a bunch of presets, and you can preset these yourself. But I reckon that's a pretty cool function. That's cool. I'm really happy with this. The Auxbeam 8-switch panel. I love the look and feel. Like, really solid click functions on it too. Like, I really like that. Not just this lightweight little push button thing. These are really solid clicks. I'll start labeling them as I go, and yeah, we'll go for a drive tonight. I'm going to check out the panel, obviously, in conjunction with the headlights. These are the 7-inch old spotties with a light bar on the roof at high beam. That's pretty good. There's a lot of spread. So we're picking up nearly this second post, and we're out to nearly that second white line out there. Now, in comparison, just the Auxbeam Spotlights. Fair bit more spread on that one. Certainly see a lot more of the white lights over here. The white line, I mean, far more, lot brighter. And yeah, we're out to nearly the 1, 2, 3, nearly out to the 4th post out there. That's what I was hoping for, like a lot wider spread. There's still a really strong focal point up the front, but then when I put high beams and light bar on, there we go. That is a pretty significant upgrade by the look of it. That's crazy. So, not quite as maybe blowing out that tree as the 7-inch spotties were, but that spread is a lot better for, you know, country driving, touring, even just around, yeah, 4-wheel drive parks and stuff. You're going to have better visibility to what's actually around you. It's lit up a lot better. So there you go. That's the comparison on the 5-inch Auxbeam pod light or spotlight with the wider spread. So they've got 10 little Cree LEDs in the middle, then 3 either side for that wider angle, sort of like a 30-degree angle off the side, compared to a 7-inch King's, you know, older school style, big. There must be 30 LEDs in there, 30 Cree LEDs, or at least 20 plus. I'm pretty impressed. Bigger's not always better. Good job, Auxbeam.